Hi, I'm Kathryn Taylor, and this is Let's Get Writing. Welcome to the show. My guests today are two writers that will inspire and motivate you. One is in Lewisport, Newfoundland and Labrador, and the other is in Sussex, England, over in the United Kingdom. And of course, I'm here in Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland. Now, their books are cherished by so many worldwide. But what's exciting coming up? Why, they're going to the moon. Don't worry, I'll explain. And they are also going to Marrakech, Morocco. I'd like you to join me in welcoming Carolyn Parsons and Adrienne Chinn to the show. Hello, ladies. How are you? Oh, it would help certainly if I unmuted your microphones. There we go. Adrienne, you're unmuted, and Carolyn, so are you now.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And I think we're covering the pond. You're on one side, Adrienne,
Yes.
and Carolyn and I are here on the
waving
rock.
across the pond.
And both of you have been on the show before, and I've always so much enjoyed having you as part of the show. And you're so active with writing and your careers in that area. And what I really wanted to do today is catch up because you're involved in a couple of very exciting projects. And in my introduction, I mentioned that you're both going to the moon. And you are. But Carolyn, perhaps you can tell us a little more about this.
Okay, so the project is called Writers on the Moon, and basically there was a contest we could enter to see if we could be a part of it, and I threw my hat in the ring, and I was chosen as one of 125 authors from around the world to have their books, their written work, included as part of the payload on a commercial mission to the moon. So that's happening on February 25th. And so as a part of that, it's a digital payload. And so I could invite some people, and I invited Adrienne to be my stowaway. So
thank you, Carolyn.
Coming with me. So I actually invited 3 people, and Adrienne was one of them. Yeah. And
that's amazing.
So that's happening. Different kind of book launch.
You got it. An excellent and fun one. And for those who don't know, Carolyn R. Parsons is a published novelist of 6 books, and she's also the owner of Cabochon Manuscript, which is an editing company. And we'll talk a little more about that when we come back to Carolyn. But I want to give Adrienne a chance to be heard from as well. And you have exciting news in that you're going to take, well, certainly you and Carolyn and some other writers on the road, and you are going to Marrakech, Morocco. So, Adrienne, what's up with Marrakech?
Well, I've been going to Morocco and Marrakech in particular for, since 2006. Yeah. Except for the last few years with COVID and all of that, I was going about 4 times a year. So I know it really well. I've been all over the country. My first book was set in Morocco. And the more I wrote, the more I thought, well, wouldn't it be a great place to have a writer's retreat? And I just thought about it. And I'd done a design retreat there in the past. It worked really well. And I threw the idea at Carolyn, and I thought, well, what do you think about the 2 of us leading this writer's retreat for writers who they can be beginning writers or published writers or self-published writers. Doesn't matter, because we can tailor the week to whatever any of the writers are wanting. So we both thought, great idea. So yes, we're looking at doing it the last week of May.
Sounds very exciting. And for anyone out there who wants to combine a trip with an experience to write and work with 2 fine writers to guide you along and motivate you, this might be something to put on your list for May. And Adrienne, you were born in Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland, which was one of the ways we connected.
Yes,
and thanks to Carolyn. You grew up in Quebec, and you eventually made your way to London, and you have a career as an interior designer. You have 4 books, I believe. Another one coming up very,
Yeah,
very shortly.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to look at all of that, and I just wanted to give people a quick chance to hear from you, and we're going to dig into a lot more of this. I think the first thing, and everyone's probably wanting to see more, is about this writing retreat. Let's have a look. I have some photos, and I'm going to show them in the stream, which will rearrange all of us, and I'm just going to pull your name down there so we can see your face. Yeah. So
This
let's
here,
yeah.
This here is a bunch of Moroccan girls. Now, as I've been part of this organization called Project SOAR in Morocco for some years now. It was founded by an American woman who I know over there, and it's a girls' charity to increase literacy and education in Morocco for girls. So 5% of the profits of the retreat I'm going to donate towards Project SOAR. So this is just some of the girls on in the group.
Super nice. So Carolyn, have you ever been to Morocco? I know Adrienne has.
Oh, no, I haven't. I haven't been out of North America. So I'm very excited.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Well, here's some of the things you and the others are going to have to look forward to. So tell us a little bit about these photographs as we go through, Adrienne.
This is a building in the Medina, which is the old part of Marrakech with all the winding little alleyways and little shops and all the rest. And this was originally a camel stop, like an inn. And the camels would be put underneath and the people would sleep upstairs. But now it's where people sell rugs and pottery and all of that kind of thing. So that's in the Medina. Now this is one of my favorite places. The Medina is very, very busy. Very busy, very loud, very active, very colorful, all of those things, very stimulating. But in the middle of the Medina is this secret garden, and it's a walled secret garden. And I know the woman who runs it very well. And it's a wonderful place to go and sit and write and contemplate. And there's little fountains and you can have tea there. And so this is one of my favorite places to go when I'm in Marrakech. Yeah.
And look at this. Oh,
this is the rooftop terrace for the little riad. Riad is like a guest house in Marrakech where we would be staying. And it's called Maison 28. And it was renovated by a Californian woman artist who I got to know in Marrakech. And this is where we had the design retreat a few years ago. Now, this is where I would be holding our talks with Carolyn, with everybody very around the tables, comfortable banquettes and all of this kind of thing. So there's lots of niches and corners. This is where we dine in the morning and have our breakfasts and dinners. So it's really lovely little guest house. We'll have the whole guest house. These are the women. This is just in the Medina, walking through the Medina. So you'd see all this lovely architecture and things for sale. And it's just quite a unique place.
And there's a group of people.
Where I was there, I'm there. And this was in the secret garden. And these were the women that were on the trip with me a few years ago. And this is us having tea. I managed to get a complimentary tea and Moroccan tea and pastries at the garden, and here we all clustered around. And this would be something that we would do on the trip as well. So yeah, and this is right in the middle of. It's called Jama El Fana, which is the big historic square, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And these are dancers. You get this. This is where you get the snake charmers, the dancers, the tarot readers, all this kind of thing. Yeah.
And we're back to the ladies. So, it looks absolutely gorgeous and colorful and everything that we expect Morocco to be. And you guys are going to be in the middle of all that. So anyone thinking of going and what might they expect to experience? Carolyn, I'm going to throw this at you because you haven't had a chance to talk for a few moments, but what are you going to be bringing to the retreat?
Well, we are going to be offering some workshops, several topics, even one-on-one sessions if someone wants to sit and just have a conversation about what they're particularly working on and what their challenges are. and where they need help, and maybe sometimes just the guidance of what's the next step. Sometimes writers get stuck, and which is what I do in my business a lot, right? Is help people when they're at that point where I don't know what else to do with this thing. So that kind of thing, hosting workshops, but also I'm hoping to do a little writing myself. It's a very inspiring looking place. I love all the bright colors, and
it's absolutely inspiring.
Yeah,
we structured it so that there is plenty of writing time. So in the morning there would be an optional workshop, because if there are some very experienced writers, they might feel, well, I don't need to go to that particular workshop. They might pick and choose what ones they want to go to. But we'll be talking about structure and character and dialogue and all sorts of interesting things with exercises and all the rest. And we'll be talking a bit as well about how we do structure and how we go about developing our own novels. And then there's lots of writing time in the afternoon, and then we'll be going out for lovely meals in the evening or having some at the Riad. And there's a few little fun things. The last night I have Moroccan musicians come in, and we do some, we have a buffet, and we have musicians, a little bit of Moroccan dancing. And so there's fun and lots of time to write, and also courses, workshops in the morning. So lots to do.
Yeah, and I have the May 24th to the 30th of 2023 are the dates for this. So people are out there thinking about it. We're going to encourage them to get in touch with you. And I know they can register through your website, I believe, Adrienne.
That's right, yes, which is down there, adrienne-chinn.co.uk. And just there's a section that says Writing Retreats. So go on that and you'll see the Marrakech Writing Retreat with all the information. The prices are in pounds sterling, but just go with the Canadian conversion to
For
go
sure.
with that. That's absolutely fine, because the course is open to people, not just in Britain, to the United States, Canada, Europe, wherever. But any questions you can email me, and I'm quite happy to answer.
And of course,
I want to say, if you do book before the end of February, you get a 10% discount. So early birds. Early birds.
So anyone out there considering to do this, get a move on. And Carolyn, can people also reach out to you as well for information?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And actually, I think I've already calculated out the Canadian.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks.
Yes.
Okay.
So that I can give that to to people if they want. And also, I'll be putting it on my website as soon as I can figure out how.
Great. Yes.
That's coming soon. That'll be in the next few days. I'm just finished the project and I'll get that up.
Yeah. So Carolyn's a great contact for the Canadian participants.
Contingent, we hope.
But you can also contact me if you wish. No problem.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been to Marrakech a lot, so if you've got questions about weather or what to bring or anything, I can certainly help.
Yeah, well, you have, and one of your novels is actually set in Morocco. We are going to dig into some of the works that you ladies have written. Carolyn, your website now, cabochon.ca, this is also something new for you that I think we should share with people. We're talking about a writing retreat and where people can go to find inspiration and coaching and ideas, but you also are helping people who need assistance with writing and projects. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your latest venture?
So yes, it's been about a year now that it's been officially a business that I've been running, and it's doing quite well. One of the things that I've always liked to do, in addition to writing, is helping other writers and supporting other writers and finding ways to help them through connections, or just guiding them to resources, or even with their actual manuscripts if I could. And so I thought I'd take some of my expertise that I've gained over the years and start a business that offers developmental editing mostly, but some book coaching, some classes, things like that. And where I actually go into people's manuscripts and give them feedback and guidance and that sort of thing. I've found that the very best writing projects are ones where the author has invested themselves in, work. Financially, you have to make those investments to get the best possible project, to give it the best possible shot. And writing retreats is one of those things as well, right? Because you learn so much and you get the time to actually do some of the work. So it all came together, and I started building this business. And as I said, it's just about a year now that I started, and it's going well. I've branched out into a little bit of corporate work, but I still love the writing stuff, the
Well,
creative writing best.
Both of you are very successfully published, and oftentimes people, people will reach out to me, and they'll say, Kathryn, what is something that I can do, and how do I get published? How do I further what I want to do as a writer? And I think both of you would have good advice, and I think you just gave a little bit of it there, Carolyn. In other words, invest in yourself. But what other things do you think people who are wanting to move into this arena should know? What's going to help them make the journey from an unpublished author to a published author? We'll throw it to you, Adrienne.
Well, definitely it's an investment in time, for sure. And I mean, it took me 8 years to get my first novel published. So, it's not necessarily an overnight thing. And I took a lot of weekend writing courses. I went on a writing retreat. I went on these writing events, 3-day events and things like that. I had a writing mentor who helped me as well. So all these things I did over the course of the different years. I wrote many, many drafts of it and polished, and I would send it out to agents, and I would get, yes, lovely, not quite, all of this kind of thing. And so I'd go back and I'd polish it some more. And it's just, if you really are determined, you need to just keep getting better, just keep working on it, and just saying, one of these days a door is going to open for me, as long as I keep working at it. And it will, but you do have to work at it. And then, I got a 2-book deal, and then after that I got a 3-book deal, and so now the wheels are going, but it was having a lot of self-belief and working quite hard. And I was working full-time at the time, so a lot of nights, weekends, and holidays that I were working. But I
Which is often
so bad,
the case.
I really wanted to do it, so it became very important to prioritize it.
Well, folks, if you're listening, that's some very good advice. Stay at it. Don't give up. Prioritize it, and just stay at it. And Carolyn, you're writing. You've written quite a number of books over a long period of time as well. Tell us what your best advice is.
Yeah, I can just echo what Adrienne said. Just keep writing it. Just keep doing it. Don't give up on it. One of the best pieces of advice I got that I take is to look for people who are better than you to help you. Don't just get feedback that, feeds the ego. You need to feed the story. So you need to get feedback that makes you think about your work, and could you do it a different way? And Adrienne touched on, it's not quite there, because agents are looking for the next marketable thing. And how do you get it there, right? How do you find that? So, and multiple projects too, because you never know which one's gonna hit for you. So
the more you get into the business of writing, and we see books, we go into different stores and we go online, and there are books everywhere, and people are writing books. And I'm sure when people are first starting out, they're constantly wondering, well, how do all these people write books and do this? And why does it feel like such a mountain to me? But I guess what you suggested, continue and work at it, take retreats. And again, I'll mention again the retreat that's coming up in Marrakech, a great way to start and get out of being at home for the past few years. You both have written quite a number of books. I'm going to show some of them in the stream here, and we'll talk a little bit about them and have a look at them. So under me is Desolate. Carolyn, that's your most recent book. That's a little bit of a different shift for you, isn't it, Desolate?
it was. I've written historical stuff mostly, and this one's actually set in 2047, so it's a future dystopian type thing set in Newfoundland. Bad things happen, and good people make the best of it. That's the tagline. But I wanted to. It's older people. It's not the usual young people fighting off, enemies. It's community and, of course, back to our roots, right? And that's actually what happens. They go back to the old ways because that's how they can survive when things fall apart. So it came out
and
just last year. Or
just
yeah, well,
last year?
last year.
And that's with
Yeah,
Engine Books, I believe. Yeah,
it's
or
with
the
Engine
year
Books. Yeah,
before. Yeah,
yeah.
and Adrienne, the Paris sister, where is that? I'm not sure my slides are all in order. I
Yes,
guarantee
it's
you I
right
have
under
them.
me. It's right
Yeah,
under me here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about this book. Where does this
Yes,
fit in?
well, this is the second book in a 4-book series that I'm currently writing. And the first book, called Love in a Time of War, came out this past February. That
I
one.
know I have it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one was set during World War One. It follows the lives of 3 English sisters and their Anglo-Italian mother. There's a little bit of a backslip to the mother back in the 1890s. And yes, it follows what's happening to all of them through the years of the First World War. One becomes an army nurse. One is an artist, runs away with an artist to Italy, and the other one has a German fiance, and who obviously they don't see each other through the war, and she ends up eventually being involved with a British army infantry soldier. So it follows all of what's going on with them. And what I wanted to do with this series is just follow the lives of women through the first part of the 20th century, and their experiences during the big events that were happening, but bring it down to a microcosm, and understand how women were dealing with these kind of things.
Well, as I listened to both of you talking about your books, and those 2 books were absolutely polar opposites, Carolyn, yours being more dystopian, but there has to be so much research, and I don't know if we've touched upon that, where you guys are getting your ideas, and what amount of research. If you're writing in the future, Carolyn, I suppose the world is your oyster. If you're writing in the past about other times, Adrienne, I guess there's much more research. Let's just bounce that around a little bit. What do you have to say about these things?
Well, as far as me, yes, I had to do a lot of research, and especially as my characters are all in different countries, so I had to find out, research a lot about what was happening in these different countries and these women in different situations. I did a lot of research as I went, so which I find that easier than trying to go sit down. I've got to do 3 months of research and then write. I much more enjoyed researching. I do a lot of research online. I read so many articles, links. I have a whole document of links of things, and I go on YouTube and I listen to people's stories, etc., that kind of thing. So that's what I did for the Paris Sister as well, which is set in the 1920s.
And I think I do have an image of that I might be able to.
Yeah, so that one's
bring
follows
up
the
there.
sisters, through the 1920s to 1929, the stock
And
crash.
well, and there is a lot to go back. And Carolyn, I've also brought up the Forbidden Dreams of Betsy Elliott, which was set in Newfoundland, and you had to really reach into your roots. You're originally from Change Island, and talk a little bit about that, how you pull your research and approach your books.
Well, yeah, I made that one a little easier in that it was from home, and I could actually ask some of the elderly people, about certain things. It was set in 1933, but a lot of Newfoundland history is in there, and I did the same as Adrienne. I found things online. I did delve into the archives a little bit, the Newfoundland Labrador archives, and old newspapers, the Toronto Sun, I think it was called Sunspots or something. And there was a book with a collection, and I used that. Same thing though, just doing it. The second draft, there's a next version of Betsy, the sequel, is set in Boston. So that was a whole other research thing, and I have document with links to old Boston because it's following this, so it's 1930s Boston. It's the gangster era, and I had a lot of fun with the second one, and it's drafted. I haven't taken it for publication yet. I've just been so busy because I didn't want to push it too far when I had a book coming out. So, and then we had a pandemic, right? That fell right in the
Of
middle.
course.
Yeah.
And maybe that writing retreat is going to be just perfect for you in bringing all of this together. But it's so interesting how our roots affect us and how we approach things. And I'm just flashing through a few of your books here so people can see. And The English Wife is another one that you've had, Adrienne. And I think this one was inspired by Morocco.
That's right. Yes, that was my first one. The Moroccan. Yes. I mean, I was so inspired by all my visits to Morocco. I really, really wanted to write a book set there. So I did. And it's a contemporary time slip. Part of it is set in the 1980s, and then part is set about, I don't know, about 30 years before. Yeah.
You know, and once again, I'm just going to remind people about the upcoming retreat and all that you're doing. I have put up that people can find you on Facebook and Twitter. Where is your favorite spot for people to reach out if they'd like to speak with you? Would it be through your web pages?
A lot of people contact me on my Facebook, actually, Adrienne Chinn author. That's where I get a lot of people messaging me. So that's probably, people find that easiest. You can certainly, yes, that
one right there?
Yeah, absolutely. So by all means, message me on Facebook via that, or you can certainly get me via my email, which is on my contact page on my website.
Wonderful. And Carolyn, what's the best place for people to find you?
Usually Facebook or email's good. I'm pretty responsive on Twitter as well. If you want to, reach out and tweet to me or send me a private message, I'm on there every day. So those are my three, but usually Facebook Messenger is the way to get me real fast, through my author page as well.
Well, we've had a very quick tour of your careers. We've gotten some good advice for people. We've told them about the upcoming writing retreat in May. And I just want to thank you both so much for the time that you shared with us at Let's Get Writing today, and the encouragement that you've brought to aspiring authors everywhere around the world. And best of luck with your project. And I'm giving it some thought. I will say that. Definitely.
You have a great time.
Last.
Oh God. Get all these Newfoundlanders in Marrakech. There we go.
Oh,
they wouldn't know what hit them.
Yeah.
Well, it would be fun. So never say never. I am thinking of it, and I'm sure that you'll be bugging me. Folks, thank you so much for joining us for this Let's Get Writing show, and we hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to follow me on YouTube and Facebook. Share the love, and I do just going to remind you one more time. I think I've got it. Follow me. And that's always appreciated. And it's Kathryn Taylor Media and Kathryn Taylor TV. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone. And thank you, Carolyn. And thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you, Kathryn.
Thanks very much.